Hello and welcome back to Your Property Podcast. My name is Michelle Cairns from YPN, and today we've got Rebecca and Ruth Shipley, sisters in business, and they have been investing for 12 years. So quite a unique combo. We don't often get sisters on the podcast. In fact, I think you're our first.
Oh, no way. Oh.
So someone's going to email in now and say, do you remember episode number 43? So no, I think as far as I can remember, but we have done a few. But yeah, it's great to see, you guys here and just like being a strong force for good in the property investing world. And
thank you for having us. So
representing the female community, sister community.
Yes. Yeah. So Ruth and I don't know if you want us to fill in on our story.
Yes, please. So just tell us a bit about yourselves and let's start with now, right? And okay. What are you up to now? And then you can fill in anything along the way.
Yeah, sure. So Ruth and I, we are we were very hush-hush with the fact that we were property investors for about a decade.
Because the media doesn't like landlords.
Generally, no. And I think we felt a lot of judgment, and we felt quite alienated with the traditional stereotype of what a property investor is meant to look and be like, what their goals are, and even how they operate, how they work.
Yeah.
So we just felt like, okay, at least we have each other. We can trudge through this by ourselves.
We didn't know anyone. We didn't know anyone investing because when we started, we were like babies.
Yeah, we were in our 20s. Like we were still at university, walking around in our Hello Kitty outfits.
We didn't have any. We just didn't know anyone that was even buying a house to live in themselves.
No, let alone invest in one to get an income from. So we're very much in it alone, which is probably why we are also quite attached at the hip, because we only really had each other. And yeah, fast forward to today, Ruth and I are slowly building a wonderful community named, we've called ourselves online the Honest Property Sisters, because we just felt like there was such a void for just the reality of what it takes to be a property investor and just create a space where anyone who was anything like us, whether you're female, maybe you're from the diaspora, maybe you have really strong family values like we do, you're more experiential over material, then because those were the sorts of role models we were seeing online. I've overexhausted this term golf and Gucci quite a bit. That was the sort of people we were seeing online,
and we were not that at all. We're nature loving. We love maybe the most expensive thing that we do is travel, but we don't care to have material possessions at all.
Yeah, we just wanted to create a space where there was that. We also recently did a networking event. We're just trying to create what we wished we had when we began, so that we could offer that to other people. So
because all of our role models, we're sisters are talking like
each other sentences,
but all of the
it's your podcast, you're supposed to be talking, keep going.
But all of the role models for us were all like at least in their 40s, so it was a huge age gap, and they were all men. So we didn't have, so we worked for a long time
trying to be like
these 40-year-old men, and realized we got to a point in our 30s and we go, we're exhausted. It's exhausting. Yeah. And I've really leaned into working like women now. And it's been such a refreshing experience. And to find other people on social media who are going, actually, I'm feeling exactly the same as you, which we just didn't have that around us.
Mm.
Yeah, you must be really, I guess you're attracting a lot of people who are at that level where they have, I guess, different values from, like, as you say, the people who are older. And it is true, because so many people who are, I guess, in their 20s, 30s have got just a different outlook on life, and as you say, more experiential. So it is more about actually the time and the location freedom for a lot of people who they want to work from the laptop, and value that experience over perhaps like, you know, the cars and the houses and all of that things that, you know, that you often see from people who are older promoting the lifestyle of what property gives you, right? It's not, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, like a yacht in Monaco might be nice, but it's not something I particularly aspire to, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's just a different kind of, we felt like there needs to be a different kind of role model out there, or something that, you know, those things that don't inspire us, let's find something that's otherwise inspiring. Like you say, just your time freedom, being able to work from anywhere. That's
time freedom has always been our goal, because we are half Filipino and half English, and we want to be able to always have the freedom and flexibility to see our family whichever they are in the world. So that's like a huge value for us.
Okay. And so tell me about, you know, you mentioned about being at uni and, you know, have this kind of identity as property investors, but not really fitting in. So how did you stumble into property at that point? Was it through family, or did you come across courses and, you know, something online?
So our father was a successful freelancer back in the heyday, and our family's income very much depended on him being actually physically present to work. One day he was not able to because he injured himself,
and he lost all his clients.
Lost all of his clients, and that really put our family finances under jeopardy. Because
and also he, for his job, because he was a very successful cameraman for his work, it's meant he had to spend a lot of time away from the family. So we didn't get to see him that much when we were younger, and we've always known that we wanted to follow in the footsteps of being I guess like a riskier job, a freelancer, solopreneur, but we didn't want to be reliant on that sole income like our dad was for us.
Yeah. So whilst one of his clients gave him a book, and I'm pretty sure most property investors have heard of this book, and it's called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
The OG.
Yeah, the original.
The OG. Yeah. You might go to, this is how I started. It's like, you feel a bit embarrassed saying it, really, don't you?
Like, I wish it was like something a bit more unique, but
it really was a book that changed.
Is that what you read? Is that how
it was. Yeah, the penny dropped when I read that.
Yeah, so the penny dropped for us too.
Yeah, so our dad gave us that book because one of the clients recommended it, and like our parents don't know anything about property investing. No. They knew how to be the asset in the business model. So our dad gave us this book that a client recommended, and it just changed everything, didn't it?
So we were like, okay, well, it's going to be stocks and shares or property. In all honesty, property sounded less boring.
Stocks and shares is boring.
So
I was like, at the beginning, I was like Googling gold and silver. And then I was like, you know what? Let's go to property. It's great as an add-on. But we want the passive. Can't say passive. We want the recurring income, don't we? Right?
Recurring income. And also you're providing a home for someone to live. And we thought that was just amazing. Yeah.
So how old were you then?
I would say early 20s.
Yeah.
Early 20s.
Yeah. 20.
Yeah. Still at university. At the same time, we were growing a pet care business. So that was our passion business. And it became quite successful. But we realized over time that very much depended again on us being physically present in order to run it. Even we got staff and stuff, but we still had to be relatively location bound in order to operate that business. So
because all our clients was in the same area.
Yeah, it operated within a radius. So we did end up selling that business and putting all of our energies into property. Another reason we did that was because we noticed that during the lockdown, that time we were all locked inside, the only aspect of our income that was still running was the property.
Yeah, we couldn't work for pet care. We really wanted to, but instead we ended up volunteering to walk people's dogs because it was the only way to get out.
But yeah, people still needed to live somewhere, so we were still getting recurring income.
That was the catalyst, wasn't it? To go, we're going
full in. Let's just be more serious about this. Yeah.
It's funny, wasn't it? Because people were saying, "Oh, well, how's business and how are you doing?" I'm like, well, people are like, yes. one or two have asked for a payment plan, but overall, like 90% of the tenants just kept on paying because they wanted to stay and have a home, and that was the only thing that was certain in their lives right then, right? So it was a big wake up call to actually this is as stable an income as it's going to get, and if you're going to be tested by COVID, then God, is there anything else that's hopefully not going to test it more? Yeah. So so COVID came, and then did you get involved in like courses, and like what sort of strategies did you start off with?
So before COVID actually hit, we did we started when we were 20. So we bought 2 properties at the same time because
we did do a course. We did do a course because it was the one that was advertised, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. So we did Rich Dad Poor Dad. Then Facebook ads was like, you like this stuff. So
the algorithms went.
They sent us an ad and we're like, well, there's nowhere else to learn. So there were no options really. It was
of course.
More than 10 years ago.
We didn't have people in our circle either.
No, we didn't have any physical role models in our lives.
Because most people that learn this is because you've got an uncle that tells you about this. We literally didn't have anyone.
No. Or like someone in construction who you could just
you just stumble across an Instagram advert or something. So and then the first one you say, well, like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for, right? So,
yeah. So they got us. We went. It was a free thingy. That's obviously like a pitch for the bigger course. So then we were like, well, there's no other option. So we did this 3-day course in London. And then there were options to do HMO. But we decided to look further into HMO, creative financing, and distressed housing. So we returned again to cover those modules in London. Again, we were feeling very alone because we were still the young women in the room in a sea full of guys in suits that were at a different life stage. And then after that, we got mentorship with 2 fellas who came down to our city. And that was really helpful more than anything for the confidence, because we completely lacked confidence. We were scared to even walk into an estate agency and be like, buy a house.
But we also had the audacity to pitch to our dad's clients.
Yeah.
We were like at yacht clubs. And so we were like, please give us some investment money.
That was a wild ride. But then, so we were putting offers in here, there, and everywhere. And then no one was saying, we were putting really cheeky offers, like well below what they were asking for. And no one was saying yes. And then 2 said yes at once, because that's how the law of nature works.
Of course.
Yeah. And we're like, well, let's just do them both at the same time.
And how did you do the first 2 then? Did you have savings, or how did you get them to?
The investor money wasn't as far as we thought it would be. So like Ruth said, we were asking like people who were somewhat connected to us through our dad's side, only to find that a family friend was more than happy to lend to us. So
they already had trusted us.
So he already knows, loves, and trusts us. So like, I think that
easy.
was
Not there, right? Yeah,
exactly. You don't have to make life hard.
I bet it's something that you would never have even dreamt of approaching them before, if you'd have gone on a different path, and it's not something you would even have, thought of to work with or offer an opportunity to friends or family, right? So I guess it's something that they taught you on the courses, just start with who you know, and, by all means tell everyone but if people already know, like, and trust you, they're already family, then
that's the hardest bit. That's a great shortcut. Yeah, definitely. So we did both of them at the same time, and another reason we decided to do both of them at the same time is because they only happened to be up the road from each other, so it was very convenient for the contractors to go in and work on both. We turned those 2 into mini-mos, and
we did a lot of the work ourselves, except for plumbing and electrics.
And then we self-managed, and they were rented on a room let basis. And that was quite a lot of
experience.
And the
learning curve, isn't it?
Bills included. And that was a lot of work, especially just coordinating the different personalities in one house if they didn't really know each other and were sharing common space.
So we don't do that anymore. We do one AST, and it's just so much easier.
And bills excluded. They can then everybody in there likes each other. And share the responsibility of the bills. And if somebody can't stay anymore, then it's on them to find someone that they like to then move in the house, and it just keeps the peace, basically. So then
the money starts rolling in.
So then once you start, you can keep going. It's just getting
like, this is real. This is real money. I can pull it out of the bank.
Yeah. So we did that and bought another Minimo, and then we bought so we did this exact same thing.
Okay, do you mind if I drill into this? So you borrowed the investor money. Was that did they lend you the full amount for the property? And then is it like a long-term fix, or was it more of a JV?
Oh, it was a long-term fix.
Yeah, so they didn't have any equity at all in it.
No, just a regular loan repayment to them. Yeah,
on the full amount. And then is that kind of how you like progress then, just kind of working with investors?
Yeah. And when we refinanced the first couple, we basically pulled out everything anyway. So it was much easier just to keep recycling that initial pot of money over and over again. So we got another Minimo because that's what we knew how to do, only to realize after 3 of them that we were pretty tired. So that's why we changed the way we worked them to how Ruth described it: 1 tenancy, no bills. And then we got management as well, because
we were enjoying our other business so much.
I didn't want to drive across town to deliver a temporary.
But we would have to go out at Christmas in our pajamas to like get an oil heater because there were no plumbers available to repair the boiler.
It's always the way, isn't it? It's like Christmas Eve or bank holiday or something without.
It was so difficult at the time because we had friends who just didn't understand or didn't get it. So there was very little we could share, but they'd be like, "Why are you working so much?" At that time.
Or you'd be on a holiday and it was the worst and you have no signal, but then you've got a distressed tenant and you can't address them. So paying for management was worth its and once you have several properties, you can also negotiate the rate that the commission that you pay. So I think it's if you're looking to get your time back.
We stopped managing when I had a kid. Pretty much,
just less time.
That's a good time to stop managing.
There's someone else to manage now.
Exactly.
But we got
so what's
great, so it's like it works out really well.
Yeah, that's good. And so fast forward to today then, what's your strategy now? And have you has it changed, or are you still cutting?
Well, the story
we got distracted.
We decided to we had a pot of money, but we were like, we're tired with the Minimos. Where else can we put this money? That isn't going to be as much of a headache, because I think we're at our tether's end, at the end of our tether. So we're like, okay, we can afford a flat in a better location. So then we bought flats in the center, and they worked well. But from that experience,
we won't do flats again.
Because
single flats or block?
Single flats.
Yeah.
Maybe I do a block.
Yeah, we do it. If we ever do flats,
if it's freehold,
again, we'll do a block of flats.
Yeah,
but
these two are on leaseholds, and that's quite.
You don't know what you don't know.
No.
But
and then
we're basically we went into rent to SA, and
whilst we were waiting to remortgage and recycle the money again, we're like, oh, there's this new fancy strategy around called to SA. On paper, it makes sense.
It made sense, and we'd also done service accommodation, so we knew how it worked, and we're very successful with it. And so we thought, oh, we'll do rent to SA since we know how it works.
Yeah,
it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
We powered through. I think we got like several in a year.
Yeah.
Only to resent it a year after, and realize that we got magpied into thinking that this was a nice thing to do. When
it was
really
a shiny penny strategy, in all honesty.
Yeah, it was so time consuming, quite a bit of a headache, and didn't align with our goals, which was time and location freedom. And I think that was the thing. We were just frustrated about what we were seeing online, at least for us in our own echo chambers on our Instagram or whatever, that this was being broadcasted as like a great strategy. And I guess on paper it is, but I didn't think there was enough people showing the reality of what that's like.
I think it's one of those, isn't it? I think all the strategies work. It just it depends on your values and what you want out of things. And also, if you want to kind of grow a scale up a big SA business, like that's one thing. But I think service accommodation is something that you need to have all of the processes and systems in place as much as possible. And that takes some time, right? But if you've already got strategies that are cash flowing pretty much from day one, you're like, well, hold on, why have I got to wait a year for like to average out the rents to find out if this thing works, right? So
I mean, they did well. And we did systemize them. Like we had monitors and cleaners and maintenance and managers. We tried our very best to make it, if our goal was to be as hands off as possible.
We realized that service accommodation wasn't the one to give us what didn't match our goals at all.
We realized it only really works out if you decide to manage it yourself.
Yeah, I think, well, that's the essence, I suppose, of the rent to SA model is, I guess it relies on more input on whoever's managing it. And if you've got your own portfolio, you've got your own property, then you're benefiting from that profit that would otherwise be essentially your time or someone else's time. So it's So, okay, so service accommodation tick, minimos tick. Then
so we've decided we've finished. We handed back our last rent to SA property last week. Thank goodness.
Congratulations.
What a headache, but we learned so much. And we are just focusing on growing our own portfolio. We're not getting distracted anymore. We're staying keeping it simple.
Yeah,
really.
We're happy to, moving forward, look at minimos again, under the same way that we've done it, which is what we found in our portfolio, one of the most passive, like not recurring income ways of doing things without having to be so involved.
And if we do anything that's like service accommodation, then we'd be looking at possibly a unique stay, but not necessarily
like a corporate rental somewhere.
Yeah.
No, the minimos, I love them. I'd have more of them, definitely.
Oh, I love them. Yeah, they're so easy.
Yeah, really good. I think the one thing people are put off about minimos is it's harder to refinance. So you typically can't go in there, do the buy, refurbish, refinance, and then, get a commercial valuation and get all your money out. So it doesn't work like that. But I think as long as you go in knowing that like it is what it is, and yes, you might have to leave some money in. It might not have to be your own money, but it's as hands off as I guess a HMO can get, right?
Yeah, and we're really focusing on stability for the long run, and trying to have like that.
There's pull every single penny out.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of quick rich stuff online, and that's mainly flaunted. And we're really going for the long,
slow and sustainable.
Yeah,
great. Okay, and so is that just the plan then to get more minimos in your area? Where are you based, by the way?
We're in Bristol.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
Yeah, love Bristol. Well, biased.
Whereabouts are you based?
Chester.
Okay, nice.
Also beautiful. Very lovely.
Yeah. And South is Bristol admittedly is quite spenny to buy properties in, even though most of our portfolios are here, but we did start 10 years ago. So we probably look around Wales as well.
Yeah, I was going to say it's, obviously 10 years in now, plus it's a different market. It's a different, it requires different creativity, let's say, because, a lot of people think, oh, well, it used to be great 10 years ago and, when interest rates were cheap, right? But it doesn't work now. It doesn't work in certain locations. Yeah. So knowing what you know now, for people who are listening who are just starting out, would you, rather than advise them, I guess, if you were starting out now, how would you start if you had to start from scratch, but knowing what you know?
So we've basically, knowing that what we know now, we wouldn't have spent that much on our education, but glad that we did, otherwise we wouldn't have known anything.
It worked. It did the job, right?
But I don't think now the amount that it costs back then shouldn't be how much it is now.
You didn't have anything to compare it to, did you?
No,
but now there's so much more now, so much choice.
Exactly. There's options now, and like we're very much focusing on building a community with Honest Property Sisters, because we never had that. So we're really focusing on building that community and helping other people getting started. And we've personally created a self-paced course, which very much caters to, especially to women who, or like if you're a stay-at-home mum or a dad, and there's just, like you said, it's being creative, and the way that we used to learn 10 years ago just doesn't work now for the modern person, and especially even younger people as well. And I think there are so many ways to acquire this education without having to be at a hotel in a conference room.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I suppose for people who are, like, in their late teens, they're stumbling across these things so much more now. You're getting a lot more people who are at that age group, then that they want to consume through the mobile, through online courses. They don't want to have to get on a train and travel somewhere.
I think it's quite exclusive, though. If I think learning how to invest is a type of education that should be made more accessible to people. And just going to London is expensive. Then finding accommodation in London for 3 days is expensive, let alone the course, and where they're going to upsell you or other sort of niched courses from that, which means you have to go back again. At least that was our experience.
Yeah.
So there are more options out there.
And we're just trying to make it as accessible for everyone, not just for a certain type of person.
And there's more people online that are showing there's different shades of wealthy. There's different types of people that you can find, you can relate with, that you can find community with.
We're a community knowing a lot of other freelancers, a lot of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and they are wanting to learn this around their business. And so doing it online is so much, it's catered to those kind of people better.
So even with mentorship, like Ruth and I got a lot of value out of mentorship, but if we just had a community of people that were like-minded, we would have found our confidence through that as well.
Yeah. It definitely is an alternative to building that confidence, for sure, because you are learning from everyone in the community, not just the mentor, and you're seeing other people's successes and their challenges as well. So things that you wouldn't even have thought of before someone's asking those questions. And as you say, but having a like-minded group of people as well. That
very much like if they can do it, if we can do it.
That's what I say, It's not brain surgery, right? It's
really not.
It's a process, and understand the process. If it was really easy, everyone would be doing it. But it's just about understanding, about committing to learning and being professional. We're talking about, earning considerable amounts of money here, whether that's monthly cash flow or big chunks of money through equity or development or whatever. So it's important to learn what you're doing. It's not something you just want as a hobby. So
and it's ever changing as well. So it's good to keep updated, stay connected to these networks and communities, but try as best as you can to find ones that you resonate with. So then you're not forced, like Ruth and I were trying to work like a middle-aged man and suffering from burnout from trying to think that way or operate that way. I think, there's definitely room as well to learn how to work like a woman as well, where we have a 28-day cycle, not a 24-hour one.
I get approached by so many women and they're like, oh, like I'm a single mom, or I've got kids and I'm trying to juggle these things. Like, where should I start? What should I do? And I'm like, God, it's hard, right? Just even learning, getting into it, but with all of the other responsibilities of life that is are unique to women in some ways, are just add extra complexities. So it's great to be part of a community like yourselves, where you're part of like-minded people. And I think because the theory behind investing is pretty much similar, right? Everyone's telling the same stories, it's the same content, but how it's packaged up and how it's delivered, as you say, making it accessible there so that people can, that some people are going to relate to you both and other people aren't, and that's fine. So it's all about, I guess, finding your tribe and being surrounded by people who are going to inspire you on the journey. So what's any kind of advice for people who are listening, some pointers of where they could, what should they do the next, we're recording this in October, we're heading into the end of the year now, gonna have those New Year's resolutions soon.
Well, we had a little bit of a discussion and posted something on Instagram that we've been talking about a lot recently, and that is basically decide what you want your life to look like, and work backwards from there. If you're going into property, which I imagine most people go into property because they want financial, time and location freedom, then don't be mindful of every step you take. Ruth and I accidentally gave ourselves a new job with the renter serviced accommodation strategy. And there's going to be a million strategies that you're going to see online. But if you know what it is you want out of life, then you can make every action you take in property align to the outcome that you actually want.
But you don't have to do all these other strategies just because someone else is doing it.
For the sake of being in property.
Yeah, for the sake of being in property. This is why we've got creative with how we want to show up in property now and feel completely fulfilled. Whereas in before, it felt like we were just trying to, for the sake of being in property, start a rent to SA business that we didn't actually enjoy.
I think so. Yeah, watch out for like the ego that might come up and about that we do often see in the property space. And remember that if you wanted the time, location, financial freedom, property is a tool. It's a tool to achieve that goal, and just to be mindful of every step you take and find your community.
Yeah, and property is always needed. And like we were supposedly young, but we definitely know there's like a lot of young people don't stay in the same jobs forever. They are moving around. We want flexibility to be able to rent. So property is such a great investment for like people like us who want to be able to move to where the next opportunity is. But if there's a lot of pressure for young people to have to buy a house and live in it forever, and then that's it. But younger people don't work like that. They are looking for opportunity moving to the next city. That's why the rental market is so important for younger people. And I think like it's remembering that you're providing a service to the younger generation, especially because you're helping them fulfill the other opportunities in other places.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a good place. And I say something similar, just that start with what you want to achieve and then work backwards. So it's good to know we're aligned on that one.
Definitely. I mean,
great minds think alike.
Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, like no discrimination.
But if that's your goal, then you align to get that goal. But yeah, if you're anything like us, then be careful of not accidentally giving yourself another job.
Yeah. And it's okay to feel that draw, because the shiny penny, I mean, I host lots of different webinars and, come across these new strategies all the time. And after every single one, I'm like, well, that sounds amazing. I should definitely do like now, maybe I should be doing that one. And then I have to kind of refocus, bring yourself back. Let's crack on, just keep on going.
Absolutely. I think it's natural to get excited by something new.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's, property is full of, as you talk about the reality of the dull and boring, the admin, all of the hassle and everything that comes along with it, tax and solicitors and all these things, that it's really nice to get excited sometimes. It is, and that kind of like fills you up as well. But just stay focused, I think. So where can people find out more about your community and what you girls are up to?
So Ruth and I have, Ruth touched on that. We do have a course for people who are absolute beginners and they don't even know where to begin. They want to get started. And we do have a beginner's roadmap. And for people who've already got some level of education, because we want people to be able we've got a community, but we want people who have already got a baseline of knowledge so that we can maintain the value of this community of people who are proactive investors. And we also have an honest property community, which is actually live tomorrow. So we're excited to release that.
But we have as well a podcast, which is called Honest Proper Tea,
as in
proper tea, because we're from Bristol.
Exactly. Oh, you got a herbal one. Nice.
I've got a herbal one today. You know, I've got some sort of vanilla chai.
I love it.
Getting a little bit on the Christmassy side. I thought I'll, start getting the chai out.
Yes. Now I'm craving chai. I'm more buzzed on coffee. So you've got the podcast, and then if you want to find us on Instagram, we are at Honest Property Sisters.
That's our main social media. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we will put all of those links in the show notes for everyone to follow up with. And I look forward to, seeing what's happening next for you both. And it sounds like exciting times, and also hopefully some kind of predictable times with your strategy as, staying focused on what you're doing. And then, I think once if you've got that certainty in your strategy and going forward, it allows you to do more creative, more fun things and helping other people, right? So it's
exactly we are really enjoying the creative side and just connecting with the people that we wish we had at the beginning with our nice stable portfolio running itself in the back. Yeah,
amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been fun and hopefully inspiring for people, I'm sure, and lots of tips for people. So I think we can sum it up by saying, if we three can, then you can.
You absolutely can. Yes, and we can have it with a cup of tea as well. Thank you so much, Michelle. It's been our absolute pleasure.
No worries. Well, take care, and thank you to everyone who's listening as well. If you're watching our YouTube channel, if you are not yet a member of the YPN membership, then do click the link in the show notes for your free 30-day trial. Take care for now, guys, and see you next time.
Bye.